So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance in Business, Mindset, Wellness, and Success. Welcome to WholeCEO with Lisa G. I am so excited and thrilled. I'm sitting down today with Ben Azadi. He went through his own personal transformation of shedding 80 pounds of pure fat. Ever since, Ben has been on a mission to help 1 billion people live a healthier life. He's the author of 4 best-selling books: Keto Flex, A Perfect Health Booklet, Intermittent Fasting Cheat Sheet, and The Power of Sleep. And he's been the go-to source for intermittent fasting and the keto diet, which I am super pumped to talk to you about because I love both of those topics, all of the stuff you're all about. I'm a huge fan of yours. So let's jump right in. Welcome, Ben.
Hey, Lisa. Grateful to be here with you and your wonderful audience. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'm sure we're going to be so excited to hear about, it's so popular right now, ketosis, and you've been doing it for so long and you actually lost 80 pounds, but who cares about that? You know, anyone can lose weight. You kept it off. And intermittent fasting, let's specifically discuss that for the first conversation about intermittent fasting for more energy and productivity, because we all want that.
Yes, we do. And intermittent fasting is such a tool to get you that. When you think about the opposite of intermittent fasting, eating throughout the entire day, like most Americans do, they're eating every 2 to 3 hours. That is an energy sucker because it takes massive amounts of energy and resources and blood flow to digest a meal. And if you're eating every 2 to 3 hours, even if it's a healthy snack, you're going to take energy away from your day-to-day activities and you're going to use it for digestion. So fasting could be a great way to not only fix the gut because you're not eating food, but also use that energy for the task at hand, whether that's a podcast interview or a sales call, or you're speaking on stage or whatever it is. You're going to have amazing energy because what happens in the body when it thinks it's going through a famine, because it doesn't know about Uber Eats or DoorDash. It doesn't care about your refrigerator or the grocery store. When you go 16 hours, 18 hours without food, it thinks it's going through a famish. We're hardwired this way, every single cell. So it pumps up these counter-regulatory hormones, glucagon, cortisol, human growth hormone, and it's the body's literal way of pumping you full of energy so you can go out there into the world and hunt and kill. But you're going to use it as a CEO and entrepreneur to actually use it to just crush your day and have amazing energy levels. So I feel the best and I'm the most productive when I'm in the fasted state.
Me too, and I'm all about it. I don't do keto as strictly as you do, but I do strictly do the intermittent fasting, and I've gotten great results for my clients and myself. I've been doing it for years, and what I love about the energy is not only does it increase your energy, but it keeps it in more even keel, wouldn't you say, rather than people that are sugar burners compared to the fat burners?
Absolutely. It does, because you're going to keep your glucose and insulin steady and stable. And if you could do that, you're only going to have stable energy levels as well. The problem with eating, like you said, sugar burners who are eating every 2 to 3 hours, are eating a whole bunch of carbohydrates, they're getting this big glucose spike, and then insulin comes in and drops that glucose. And then all of a sudden your energy drops with it, leading you to need to go get more snacks, a protein bar, a kombucha, whatever it is. And then you're just relying on food to give you energy, but food does not give you energy. It does the complete opposite. It is false energy. It's short-term, short-lived energy. But with fasting, you're keeping glucose and insulin steady and stable, and your body's able to switch to your body fat for energy, for an energy fuel source. And that's what's going to give you some really good focus and clarity throughout the day.
And fat loss, I mean, who wouldn't want that?
And that's a side effect of it. Yeah, Fasting is a great fat loss tool, but not because we use it for fat loss. We use it for health. And as you get healthy, the weight comes off as a side effect because that's the way the body works. We do not lose weight to get healthy. We get healthy to lose weight. And fasting is how you get healthy. It helps you reduce inflammation. It helps fix the gut. You get rid of damaged cells via a process called autophagy. So all these amazing things happen when you just don't eat food.
Thank you so much. You're such a wealth of information about this topic, and I really love all the work you're up to in the world. I want to talk more about brain fog and fatigue because we've all been through so much lately. Sometimes I find myself in that condition just because of all the overwhelm of trauma that's been thrown at us lately.
Brain fog, fatigue, mental fatigue, forgetting people's names. It's so common, but it's not normal.
Yeah.
And a big reason, of course, is the glucose spikes that we mentioned, but also not getting quality sleep. You know, sleep is where your body is going to detoxify itself. You have this process called the glymphatic system that's activated during a stage 4 delta sleep. You have this cerebral spinal fluid flushing over the brain. The brain is shrinking in size, and it's flushing out toxins and accumulated plaques and proteins. So that's one of the best ways to deal or overcome brain fog and mental fatigue. Add quality sleep with fasting, and it's just a game changer. Those counter-regulatory hormones that kick in during a fast, the ghrelin, which is a hunger hormone, that helps you stay mentally sharp. It stimulates the brain stems, and you get that when you're in that fasted state.
I love that. And I'm so glad you're bringing up sleep because to me, it seems like it's become this whole badge of honor among us entrepreneurs and business people, and especially throughout lockdown where we're all working from home, to work more and sleep less. And people that really want to have more energy, they want to feel better, they want to do better at work. And a lot of people want to lose fat. Let's be honest, some of the quarantine 15 COVID curves. Why do we feel it's like so important to not sleep when sleep has so many health benefits for your heart, for your hormonal system, for fat loss? I mean, what is this whole don't sleep, just work thing going on here?
Yeah, Lisa, I used to have the same mentality for so many years. You know, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sleep is for the weak. And it was kind of like you said, a badge of honor to get minimal sleep and to have more hours, because it kind of makes sense logically, right? If you could only sleep 4 hours, then you'll have more hours. You have 20 hours during the day to get more work done. The problem, you're not as productive, as focused, as alert during those 20 hours. So if you could actually change that and get 7 hours, 8 hours of quality sleep, yeah, you'll have less time working on your craft, but the time you are spending on your craft, you're going to be more productive. You're going to get more done in less time, not to mention all the other benefits that we talked about, the fat loss, the brain detox. So it's important. Sleep is not sexy to talk about. It's free, but it really is the Swiss Army knife of health. And if you could really get that strong foundation, that framework solid, which is sleep, then fasting, then your supplements, then keto, then whatever that you're doing works that much better. But if your sleep is crap, it's going to be almost impossible to get those results you want to get.
I find as a woman that to be especially true hormonally. And I find that if I do get the sleep, then I can pick hours and do a focused amount of time working instead of being all ADD and like, oh, there's a squirrel and drinking tons of coffee just to get through the day. And then mood wise, you know, you have those shorter fuse if you're not sleeping. Like, don't you find that even too with your people that it's hard to be in a good mood when you're sleep deprived?
Totally. I mean, nothing impacts me more than poor sleep. I could eat like crap. I could eat foods that are not keto friendly foods. I could eat a whole bunch of sugar. I could sit on my couch all day. And yeah, those will affect me, but not more than getting crappy sleep. We could go days without food, fasting. We could go days without exercise, a sedentary lifestyle, but we cannot go days without sleep. You turn into a crazy person. So it's important. Yeah, I've been there. You start to hallucinate. You, like you said, you start to chase squirrels and you're just not going to be productive. So it really does start with sleep. And once you upgrade your sleep, everything else that you're doing upgrades by default.
So it's quality sleep. You need that REM sleep. And how many hours of sleep are you recommending?
It's a good point because it's not just the quantity, it's the quality. I would say for most people, quantity wise, somewhere between 7 and 9 hours. But then we do want to make sure we're getting plenty of REM sleep, which is the third stage. That stands for rapid eye movement. It's where you take short-term memory and process it for long-term memory. That's when you're dreaming. But then you also want to spend some quality time in deep sleep, which is delta sleep. So I personally use an Oura Ring and I track my sleep. I get about an hour and a half of REM sleep and about 2 hours, a little bit more, 2 hours of deep sleep. And that's a good number to hit. And I get about 7.5 to 8 hours of total sleep each night.
Thank you for that. I mean, thanks for being so scientific in your approach too, because otherwise you're just guessing if you're not scientifically measuring stuff. The other topic I'm really excited to speak with you about today is inflammation, which is obviously the precursor for a lot of disease and things that can age you.
Inflammation is where it's all at. Absolutely, Lisa. When we think about diabetes, insulin resistance, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, I mean, autoimmune disease, you name the disease, what they all have in common is too much inflammation. And when I talk about inflammation, I'm not talking about a sore shoulder from an injury or a sprained ankle. I'm talking about cellular inflammation. We have 70 trillion cells in the body. And if the cells are inflamed, these membranes that sit on every cell, then there's going to be dysfunction. The receptor sites that sit within each cell cannot hear the message from your hormones, your nutrients, your oxygen, and then it leads to symptoms. Symptoms could be cancer. Cancer is a symptom. Diabetes is a symptom. Those are actually not the problem. By the way, being obese and overweight, that is also a symptom. Nobody has a weight problem. It is a weight symptom. The real problem is too much cellular inflammation. So as you get quality sleep, as you do intermittent fasting, ketosis, and other strategies that you teach on your podcast, you're going to reduce inflammation. And by default, a side effect is you lose weight. You reverse insulin resistance. You reverse whatever condition you have. The goal is to reverse or to reduce cellular inflammation. And as you do that, you're going to feel better and you're going to look better and anti-age yourself.
I'm all about the anti-aging, feeling better, looking better, and preventative measures for fighting disease in advance. And I know you're all about all of this stuff with Keto Kamp. And my podcast was initially released during the pandemic because I really want to help people be unstoppable. Do you have any final words you want to leave our audience with about how to be unstoppable?
I love that. I love that you launched it to empower people to be unstoppable. Absolutely. If you could understand how incredible you are and how amazing the human body is, you're unstoppable. It's the competence that will lead to that confidence. And understand that your body is capable of healing. It could go from the darkest of holes that you might be in with some symptoms, and it could heal itself. As long as you do 3 things, and I talk about this in my book, Keto Flex, 3 things. Number 1, identify the interference. What is interfering with your body's capability to heal itself? Number 2, work on removing that interference. It could be that you're getting crappy sleep. You understand that, you have identified it. Now you work on getting better sleep. You remove the interference. And then number 3, allow your body to heal. And that's how you become unstoppable. That's how you live to 100+ years old and scale up your business and crush it in life and have the energy and vitality to do so. Just follow those 3 rules and your body can heal. It is an amazing masterpiece because you are a piece of the master.
Thank you. That is a writer downer. Can you guys take some notes here? Say it one more time and let our audience know where can they find you at Keto Kamp and podcast and YouTube and all that good stuff. I know we met on LinkedIn and I love LinkedIn too. So say it one more time. Write this down, you guys. This is really important.
Yeah, I was saying that you're a masterpiece because you're a piece of the master. And if you want to learn more about how I teach identifying interference and removing it, I would start with my book, Keto Flex. It's a bestseller. It just came out a couple months ago. If you go to ketoflexbook.com, it goes right to the Amazon page where we have it available for paperback and Kindle. I'm in the process of recording the audiobook. I also have the Keto Kamp podcast. Keep in mind, Kamp is spelled with a K. We have an amazing YouTube channel with over 125,000 subscribers on youtube.com/Keto Kamp. And then of course, LinkedIn, where we got acquainted with each other in any social media platform. Just type in my name and I'm very accessible. I'd love to connect with your audience.
Ben Azadi, thank you for coming to Whole CEO with Lisa G.
Thank you, Lisa, for having me. It's been a pleasure.